Hi everybody, Wes here. Today I'm going to be talking about how fishing crews get paid and why they risk their lives and spend all this time out there for an unknown amount of money. So the way the fishing industry works is you go out on a boat, you get hired on with a percentage. So you get a percentage of the catch or whatever happens. So if you happen to go out and either your captain just bombs out or you have a mechanical failure or whatever, you get paid a percentage of whatever that boat makes. So there are major highs and major lows in the commercial fishing industry. It's sometimes you make enough, you can live all winter long off of it, provide for your family, other in just a few months. And other times you end up owing the boat in some cases, and that's terrible because your percentage comes out like your food percentage, your percentage of the fuel, your percentage of the cost. So essentially when you sign on to work for a boat, the only part of the contract you're really signing is the fact that you are going to work for this boat for better or for worse. When you get hired on a boat, you get paid in a percentage system. So when you get paid, you get, like, for instance, if you're a seasoned crew member, you usually get 10%. That's a high percentage. Some people get more, but 10's kind of like your hopeful percentage. So when you get hired, you get 10% of whatever that boat makes. So if that boat goes and makes $1 million throughout a season, you're going to get $100,000. Not necessarily they're going to take fuel, food, expenses, gear costs, those kind of things out. So you might make 90,000 at the end of it because there's 100,000 in expenses. So yeah, that's how it works. Some people, like when you generally start, you're considered a greenhorn and you get paid, you'll get paid 2, 3, 4% or half shares, we call it 5%. So there's half shares. A lot of people get paid 7% because you can't afford to pay everybody 10%. Not everyone has the same skill level, and the boat just can't afford to be giving out 30, 40% of its earnings to crew. So depending on how good you become, you get kind of rise in that pay scale. And then some captains will do stuff like I've had this happen where you'll get paid up 10, 12%, and then they'll say off the top, which means you get paid before expenses. So if you made $1 million and you're a 10% crew member, you get $100,000 clean, and then the expenses happen on the boat. That's just kind of like a courtesy thing, a captain that wants that crew member to come back because they are worthwhile. And honestly, in my opinion, I wish more areas of business and everything worked this way. I feel like you end up with better workers in some ways because, like, for me, when I work an hourly wage, you're very unmotivated to like go above and beyond to make the company more money. But when you essentially have 10% of that company, and I understand bigger companies, tons of employees, this can't quite work. But there are ways you could do it, have incentives. But your incentive is you are part of the business. You have 10% stake in that business. So if you make it run better, if you are a well-oiled machine with you and the other crew and captain and everything, and the more efficient and more money that boat makes, the more money you make in return. So it's kind of an incentivized way of getting paid. A lot of people don't see it that way. When I used to tell new crew, I used to be like, every fish that comes aboard or every crab or shrimp or whatever, you own a percentage of that. If you're a 5% crew member, you own 5% of that fish. So every single one that comes on that's worth $5, you get your percentage out of that fish. So to just try and incentivize them to not give up as far as like they're not working for nothing. On the other hand, it's really hard when you're going through slow periods of fishing and you're just not getting much. Sometimes you'll have a month where you make nothing. You don't make a dime. You might even owe the boat back some money. And then in a 1 week period of time, you make all your money. So it's really hard to stay motivated sometimes, but that's the risk versus reward in the commercial fishing industry. So yeah, that's my summary of how crews get paid by their boats. I'm going to go more into in other videos, how the captains get paid from the processors and just kind of from the top to the bottom, how the industry works. But yeah, I just wanted to explain how crew make their money, or in some cases don't make any money for all the effort they put in. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. And as always, don't eat farm fish.